You've heard of these Mac upgrade programs, right? Is it a better way to buy a Mac? Let's talk about it. All right, let's face it, right? Macs are super expensive and the economy's not getting any better, right? I know on YouTube you see all these young kids driving Ferraris and Lamborghinis and they live in huge mansions, but that's not reality. You know it and I know it. So in the long run, all these Mac kind of upgrade programs where you can buy these Macs on a monthly basis and then upgrade them later, is it a better way of doing this? And what I want to talk about today is Best Buys. They have a program that's going. You can buy 7 different Macs. I'm going to just give you the base price on all 7 of these, kind of the base price models. You can always increase, if you want a better system than the base, the costs go up from what I'm going to tell you here. So what I want to show you is how this works and some other things and also the pricing. But before I do that, let me just go ahead and just set the stage for what I'm going to go over. Number 1, how do these programs work? I'm going to go over and just show you how they work in general. Number 2, what Macs are they offering? In Best Buy, I'm going to tell you right now, offers 7 of them, and they offer anywhere from, the MacBook Airs all the way to the 24-inch right in front of me, this iMac right here. So they have 7 different units, including even Mac Studio. So keep that in mind. It's a lot of different Macs. Then we're going to talk about, I'm going to show you examples of the total cost of each of those 7 if you go with the base model on those. So how much is it going to cost you and how does it work? Again, the cost though is really the important thing. And then, does it make sense to buy these this way? Let's talk about that for a second, right? We'll talk about that too. And finally, can you terminate these things early? How does how does your stuff work as far as your credit and everything? So we'll get into all that. If you're interested in buying a Mac this way, paying monthly a lot lower cost with no money up front and stuff like that, stay tuned. We're going to get into it here in a second. And we're going to kind of go through a lot of different stuff here. So without further ado, let's go. All right, number 1, how does this work? So in a nutshell, there's going to be basically all these different Macs. There's 7 different base models, and I'll show you what those are in a second. But you basically choose the Mac you want. Let's say the M1 MacBook Air, all right? So you have 36 payments that you have to pay no matter what. And you basically pay 36 monthly payments. And then at the 37th payment, you have a couple different choices. You can either give them the system back and walk away. So then you're done. You lost the system. You paid your 36 months, you're done. The other option is you give them the system back and then you get wrapped into another 3-year, where you pay 36 more months for a brand new system. So you basically get to upgrade. That's why they call it the upgrade program. And then the last option is probably the most intriguing. They have a 37th payment, which is a balloon payment. It's a lot more. It's a big chunk. But then actually, if you pay that 37th payment, you get to keep the system that you have, and then you can walk away, but you own that system. You didn't give it back, you own it now. So that's how the system works with Best Buy. You get those 3 options, and you can make those decisions at the end of this process. So you don't know how your financial situation is going to be at that point. You can choose which way you want to go. All right, so number 1 is the M1 MacBook Air. How much does it cost, right? So again, I'm going to put some things up on the screen or below the screen here. It's basically the base model to start with. What it is let me just go right up to it. It's $19.99 a month for 36 months, right? So that comes out to $719.64. So over 3 years, you're paying that amount of money, $719.64. You can either give them it back at the end of the 3 years, walk away, or you can upgrade into a new system and pay $19.99 again and just keep getting a new Mac every 3 years. But this is the interesting part. You can also pay a balloon payment of $280.35, right? That brings your total cost over those 3 years to $999.99, so almost $1,000. But at that point, they give you the system, you keep it, it's yours in your name, and you're done. You walk away, but you have the computer yourself. So while it's $1,000, I know you can buy one probably for $800 right now, right? But that's right away. You have to have all that money up front. You also have to pay tax. This doesn't, you don't have to pay any tax kind of on this one, and at least as far as I know. But basically, so you're probably around $900, and this is $1,000, but you get to stretch it out over 3 years. Plus, if you don't want to, if you want to upgrade, you only pay $719, and then you can turn it in, get a new one, or turn it in and just walk away. So that's how this system works, and that's the cost for the first one. So, all right, the second one in the list is the M2 MacBook Air, right? The newest MacBook Air, the blue one that has fingerprints, right? So basically, if you look at that, it's $26 a month for 36 months. So that's $936. So that's the price. You can either walk away from it, give them it back, or you can upgrade into a new one, so $936. Or you can do a balloon payment of $264, and that brings the total cost after 37 months to $1,200, right? $1,200 isn't bad. You can probably pick that up for $1099, but then if you add tax, you're almost at the same cost on that one, right? And you're only paying it monthly versus having to pay it all up front. That's probably a key. You can put that money, invest it. So that might actually be a good one to get. The third one is going to be the one nobody really wants, but it's the 13-inch M2 MacBook Pro, right? The old body style, the M2 one, the old body style. That's $2,817 a month for 36 months. That's going to be $1,014.12, and that's the walkaway price where you just turn it in or you actually upgrade. And then finally, you can do the balloon payment on that, which is $286. So your total in on that one is $1,312. So $1,300.12. Again, that sells for about $249 in the market, or I'm sorry, $1,249 in the market right now. I wish $249. So you're saving money because you have to pay all the taxes and stuff. So that's another good one. If you're going to buy it outright, this is something you might want to think about. All right, there's 4 more I'm going to go through really quickly. Just stay tuned for the cost of those. Now, the 24-inch iMac, the one I have right here, the base model, it's $2,817. So $2,817 a month for 36 months. That comes out to $1,014.12. Sound familiar? It's just like the last one. The balloon payment's the same too. It's $286. So the payment is only going to be $1,300 for this one right here over the course of those 37 months. If you want this one right here, you can buy these. I think on paper they're $12.99, but you can get them for cheaper, obviously. But then you got to add tax. So this is another one. If you're going to get it, don't have all the money up front. This is not a bad one to get. All right, now we're getting more expensive. The Mac Studio, this is the base, again, the M1 base model of this one. And this is $43.33 a month times 36 months. That comes out to $1,559.88. So that's the walkaway price. Or you can add a big balloon payment of $440, and that then brings up the total cost to $1,999.88. So just under $2,000. That thing, the Mac Studio, retails for around that. So again, you're in pretty good shape there. Not a bad deal, right? 2 more left. The 14-inch MacBook Pro, it's $43.34 a month for 36 months. That's $1,560.24. That's the walkaway price. And then finally, the balloon payment's $440, so your total out of pocket would be $2,000.24. Very similar to the last one the Mac Studio, right around $2,000. That system, though, you can get for about $1,599 on the market right now. I've seen it a lot around there, so that's not going to probably be the best one to use this program on because you're going to save about $400 buying that early. And then finally is the MacBook Pro 16-inch. That's the kind of the more expensive one. That's $54.17 a month, and that's going to be times 36 months. That's $1,950.12. That's the walkaway price, or the price to upgrade every 3 years. And then finally, the balloon payment on that's a big $550. You got to pay $550 for that last payment, and that brings it up to $2,512. Again, you can pick those up for probably $12.99, but then you add tax on that. That's probably over $100. So you're probably only $150 off there. I think it's a little bit better for that one than the 14-inch. So you got to kind of take into perspective. If you want to stretch these payments out, that's about where you're going to be. We might be $100 and something bucks extra on these more expensive units. All right, so let's talk about some other things. So are these good deals? Some of them are, you can see that, because you're basically paying almost the same, right? The problem is your credit. You do need good credit. This is not being financed by Best Buy. It's by another company. It's called Citizens Pay. It's almost like a bank, right? So when they set you up through Best Buy, you're paying Citizens Bank this payment. And you have to have good credit. Otherwise, those costs I just gave you will go up a little bit, or it could go up. I don't know. I haven't seen what they go up because I haven't checked out bad credit. So if you have bad credit, this is probably not for you, number one. Now, number two, if you actually, if you want a system every 3 years and you want to just turn it in and you don't like selling your old computer, you don't know how to erase it, you don't like finding people, it's just not worth your time, this is probably a good program for you. But if you are somebody that actually wants to buy the system and then you want to sell it later, this system is probably not the best, although you could just buy purchase it with the balloon payment, sell it again for more money, and then go back into this. You can actually just re-sign up for this and keep doing it, just selling it yourself, and you're going to make more money back. So if you actually know how to sell these things, you'll probably be in better shape. Pay the balloon payment, sell it to a third party for more money, take that money and start your monthly process for the 36 months over. And then at the end of that, you can decide if you want to do another balloon payment or just give it back and go to something different. All right, a couple other things to note. I'm going to have to read off my screen, so I apologize if I'm looking this way here, but it says a couple things to note. You cannot basically upgrade early or terminate early. So once you're into this, there is a basically refund period of, I think, 30 days or so, just like the normal Best Buy of buying a new system. Once you get past that, though, you're in it for the 36 months. You can't upgrade early. They won't let you out of it. It's something that you got to go in full, at least to the 36 payments, and then you can give the system back. It did also say that you can add Apple Care to this, and it's going to be handled kind of separately with a separate payment, basically. So if you do that, you can add Apple Care. That's one question people have, but it's not going to be part of this. It's going to be something that's a little bit separate, and basically you get the Apple Care. Like, I don't know if it's a prorated price or not, but I do believe you can add that for extra cost. That's what it says in the description. And like I noted earlier, you can return this within, like, I think the first 14 days or 30 days, depending on your normal return period for a computer. So you can get out of it early if you want to, but once you get into it again, like I mentioned, you can't. Now the system does say you can go onto this. I'll have a link in the description of the video where you can go in there and you can actually, go to this page. I'm not affiliated with them. You make up your own decision. Now it says that it'll find out within a couple seconds or maybe a minute or so what what your credit is. Are you approved for this? Are they going to raise your cost on the monthly payments for this? That's something you got to do right away, but it's very quick. And then will this affect your credit? I mean, the question is it's going to run your credit. So every time there's a credit check, your credit might go down like 3 or 5 points just temporarily, then come back up. So you got to keep that in mind. If they're running your credit for something, it does sometimes take a hit. I'm not a credit expert. I just wanted to warn you. And then finally, you can choose different, like I said, different models. I just gave you the base pricing there, but if you want 16 gigs of RAM or a terabyte drive, you can go in there and price it out and it'll give you different monthly costs for everything and arrange the balloon payment. So this is how this works. You let me know in the comments. This is a very polarizing topic. Some people are gonna think this is the dumbest idea. Some people are gonna think this is the best idea. I'm not so sure. I mean, the ones that actually come out to almost the same cost are not bad because you're not putting all that money down. You can invest your money, your lump money, if you had it all, anyway, into something and maybe make some of that money back. So it's not the worst thing I've ever heard of, but it does run your credit check. And if you have bad credit and you're thinking first of all, if you have no money and you have bad credit, nothing's going to be for you, obviously. So you got to have some kind of credit there. But I mean, if you have fairly good credit, but you just don't want to put up that much money, because I'm not one of those fancy YouTube kids, that drives Ferraris every day. I hate those kids, but anyways, you get the idea. Then you want to go maybe this route and save some money over the long run, or at least the short term, so you can pay your other bills. This might be a good way to go, right? Anyways, I hope you guys like these kind of videos. It's just informative. I'm just trying to learn myself as I go along. Subscribe to my channel, help me grow. I'm just trying to do this more, more and more kind of better videos, longer videos, things that are going to help people. I have a normal job and I'm doing this. I'm working 12 hours a day on this stuff. So just trying to, do my best. And if you guys can support me, it's going to really help out. So I'll talk to everybody soon. Have a great Christmas and then have a great holiday. I guess I got to say everything. I'll talk to everybody soon. Peace.